Hello and welcome to episode 10 of The Final Whistle. We finally hit double digits now. We're going to keep going. I'm Drew Ziegler and I'm here with John Grant and James Gougosis. Today we will talk all about the past Super Bowl, the NBA trade deadline, and give our predictions for the World Baseball Classic. First up, the Super Bowl, a great game. Chiefs win 38-35 against the Eagles. But first up, we're going to talk about the slippery field. They paid $800,000 for this, and it took 2 years to make, and that's the performance it has. What are your thoughts on it?
It was a little bit of a disaster. I mean, all the sports websites and everybody was saying how, the new field, new technology, and how they spent so much money, and it was a disaster. I mean, I think that's the reason why there was one sack combined by both teams. I mean, everybody two sacks, my bad, in the entire game. Everybody was slipping. Anybody trying to make a cut was slipping. Kickers were slipping. I thought Bucker might have slipped on the game-winning field goal right over the paint. So it was just a disaster.
I mean, yeah, not only was it a disaster on Sunday, it was the fields were a disaster the whole season. Everybody was saying, get rid of turf, get rid of this, because turf is just not good. It's not good anymore. It doesn't get the job done. It's slippery. People are getting hurt. I feel like next year every field is going to be grass. Yeah,
the Chiefs had a few players that got hurt there in week one when they played the Cardinals, and that field has been one of the worst this season, obviously. Players are slipping every play, but it was both teams, so you can't use it as an excuse. And first up, we're going to talk about the losing team, the Eagles offense. What are your takeaways from them?
I mean, yeah, Jalen Hurts looked great. It's just couldn't do enough. It couldn't get enough to have a better offense than Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, which is probably the best offense in the league. But Jalen Hurts in that offense, they look great. Jalen Hurts had 4 total touchdowns. And, I mean, both teams have crazy bright futures.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts played an amazing game. I mean, people were saying, he's just a running back, but he was making great throws down there. Mm-hmm. He really, proved himself to be, that guy. It's just unfortunate to see, a player play such a great game and lose.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts played like how I want to see Lamar Jackson play. Lamar Jackson, he's proven he can do it with his legs, but can he do it with his arm? Jalen Hurts proved he can do it with his arm. Lamar Jackson hasn't.
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts was the best player in that game, but when it came down to it, he made that one mistake, that fumble that turned into a Chiefs touchdown, and that was the difference maker. And what do you think about the Eagles' defense? It seemed like they gave up scores every drive.
I mean, yeah, it just wasn't that same defense that we saw all season, and especially in the playoffs. I mean, we saw it versus the 49ers. They were a force. They weren't letting anything happen. They were sacking the quarterback almost every play. They got no sacks, 0 sacks. Chiefs' whole line let up 0 sacks. And, I mean, not a great performance by the Philly defense, but a great performance by that Chiefs offensive line.
Yeah, like you said, the Chiefs offensive line was the most important players of the game. Giving up 0 sacks to the best, pass rush in the league. It's really impressive. The Eagles defense, they looked well good in the first half, but in the second half, I mean, they especially those last 4 drives, they could not stop the Chiefs offense at all.
Yeah, it was an offensive game the whole time, and obviously that front seven, that's the heart of their team, really. And when you don't get to the quarterback, you're not going to win games.
The slippery fields also didn't help.
Yeah, but the Chiefs' offensive line was also dealing with that. So now we're going to talk about the winning team. What do you guys think about Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs' offense?
Yeah, I mean, after he had that ankle injury in the second quarter, I was concerned a lot for him. He did not look well. But, I mean, that extended halftime, since it was a half an hour long, really helped him. I bet if he only had that regular 15-minute halftime, I don't think he would have been playing, as well as he was in the second half. So that really helped him. But, I mean, the Chiefs, Mahomes was probably the best player. I mean, nobody on the offense played exceptionally well. They got the job done. But, I think Mahomes winning the MVP, I think he definitely deserved it.
I mean, yeah, we're witnessing greatness with this guy. 5 seasons in the league, 2 rings, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, an Offensive Player of the Year, 2 league MVPs, 5 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros in 5 seasons. It's insane. This guy is going to be an all-time great. He performed so highly while he was dealing with injuries all the postseason. The whole postseason he had that ankle injury. Chiefs, even the whole team was banged up. Travis Kelce dealing with stuff with his back. He lost his number 1 target, and Mecole Hardman. He wasn't even playing. He was having a baby. His wife was having a baby while the Super Bowl was going on. So just to come out there and perform the way he did, put up 35 points on what was one of the best defenses in the league. That Eagles front 4, they had 4 players on that defense to have over 10 sacks. Some teams didn't even have 1 guy with 10 sacks. The Eagles had 4 guys with 10 sacks. So the fact that not even just Patrick Mahomes, that Chiefs offense was able to stop them the way that they did, it's really impressive.
Yeah, just a gutsy performance by Mahomes, just really tough showing, and he got the job done. And what are your key players in this game?
I mean, for the Chiefs, you got to go with one, Patrick Mahomes, but two, I got to talk about Travis Kelce. I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game, I'm screaming how he is always open. It is insane. Travis Kelce is always open in the flat, always. If everything goes wrong, you think the play is over, he just hits Travis Kelce for 15 yards and he runs for an extra 10. It's insane. That's my key offensive player for the Chiefs. On defense, I got to go with my man linebacker
Nick Bolton.
Nick Bolton. I mean, 23 years old, came out there, fumble 6, touchdown. He played lights out all game, making all the tackles, and he's not even that high of a household name. Definitely the most under-the-radar player on that Chiefs team.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. Nick Bolton probably had the game of his career. Almost had 2 fumble recoveries for a touchdown. I mean, he was tackling everybody in his way. He was definitely the best player for the Chiefs on the defense. And on the offense, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I think he was just the best player on the offense. I mean, him and Kelce are the best duo in the league. I think that's not even up for a debate. I mean, they might be one of the best tandems in all of NFL history, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hate to say it, I am a Giants fan, but one of those key guys, Kadarius Toney, he had that touchdown and a 70-yard punt return to get it down to the 5-yard line.
Yeah, the Chiefs had both those swing plays, back-to-back drives. Andy Reid. We have to also give credit to Andy Reid. He coached one of the best games of his career and one of the best games I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's not a key player, but he was in this game as a coach. And will he retire though?
I don't think so. I think he has such a good team. I don't see how he retires with that good of a team.
Yeah, I don't see him retiring right now because the Chiefs have all the potential in the world to become the dynasty of the 2020s. They can be the Patriots that they were in the 2010s. They already have 2 rings in 2023, 2 rings in 2020. They can keep it going. And if I'm Andy Reid, why would you leave a situation like that where you have a young quarterback who's on par to be one of the best of all time, like things that we've never seen before from a quarterback this young?
Yeah, Mahomes won MVP, but like we talked about earlier, Nick Bolton, he had over 180 tackles on the year, tackle leader on the season, and I think he should have won MVP, to be honest. And on one of those last plays, the key play, there was a holding call on James Bradberry, who admitted to it. And what are your thoughts on that call?
I mean, I think the Eagles fans, they can try to, use that as the reason that they lost and how they should have gotten it. But Bradberry went out there and he said, it's on me. And, I mean, another former Giant for you. And, I mean, I bet that kind of felt good for you, Giants fan. He kind of loses the Super Bowl for the rival Eagles for them. So I think that was definitely a holding penalty, yeah.
Yeah, it was the right call. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to throw that flag, but it was definitely the right call. Eagles fans, they want to make an excuse saying they would have won. They probably wouldn't have. I mean, they could have won, but it was definitely a holding call. I mean, I don't really think, it's even up for debate.
And Giants GM Joe Shane playing chess, not checkers, making sure the Eagles still lose the Super Bowl with Kadarius Toney making some huge plays and James Bradberry with that holding call. And we'll still have a lot more NFL in the future, but we're going to take a break from right now. And next up, we'll talk about the NBA trade deadline. Now we're back, and we're going to talk about the NBA trade deadline. So first up, the big trade. Kevin Durant traded to the Suns with T.J. Warren, and the Nets get a big return, though. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, who they just traded to the Bucks, 4 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks.
KD's a perfect landing spot for the Suns. I think the Suns needed him. Obviously, it's great to have him on your team. It helps you win championships, and that's the player they always needed to help them, especially that one year they came up short because they don't have a player like him. But I think the Nets, too, won that trade because, I mean, look at them now. They're doing pretty good. All those players they traded weren't bad. They got really good players out of it from the Mavericks and the Suns. The players they got were really good, and I think the Nets will be pretty good still, but the Suns will obviously strive up.
Yeah, the Nets have that young team now. It's almost like that 2019 feel when they made the playoffs. And I think, like you said, both teams win this trade. KD obviously makes the Suns a serious contender. And our next trade, I think, went under the radar a little bit. Josh Hart traded to the Knicks for Cam Reddish, who goes to the Blazers, and a first-round pick.
I mean, we didn't really I'm a Knicks fan, but we didn't really give Cam Reddish a shot really that much. I mean, Coach Tibbs, I don't know what he's doing. He he doesn't play the players because I think he doesn't like them. Like they're basketball players. Like we pay him to play. Like you gotta give him a chance. But I'm also happy for Cam. Like get out of New York, go play. I mean, but Josh Hart on the other hand, I mean that guy. I mean, I love to see him on the Knicks with Jalen Brunson. You know, the Villanova duo back at it after they won a national championship. I think, honestly, like he's a great player, and I think he's going to impact the Knicks a lot off the bench.
Yeah, Cam Reddish now will get an opportunity in Portland, and the Villanova boys, as you said, are reunited, and Brunson's really happy, as Josh Hart just scored 27 points against the Nets after they beat them for the first time in 9 games. And the Warriors trade James Wiseman to the Pistons. They give up on him, and the Hawks in the deal also. They get Sadiq Bey, and Gary Payton III goes to the Warriors. The Blazers get 2 second-round picks and Kevin Knox.
I mean, Kevin Knox is just floating around the NBA, I guess, now. But I'm just happy he's on a team. But James Wiseman, I mean, that man was the most, like, rated center ever. Like, that guy was so hyped up, whatever. But it also sucks to be on the Golden State Warriors when you have, like, Clay and Steph and Draymond and all them. But I guess this is time to shine for the Pistons. I mean, the Pistons, they don't have Cade Cunningham this year, so hopefully James Wiseman can step up a little bit for them. I mean, obviously they're not that great of a team, but I think in like a couple of years they'll be really good, especially with Cade and
Yeah, James Wiseman will obviously get more of an opportunity now. And Gary Payton III, who was on the Warriors last year, is still hurt, and that trade finally goes through. There was a little bit of trouble with it, but now it's finalized. And the Lakers, they finally get a center, Mo Bamba. I'm not sure if that's the guy they need, but the Clippers get Bones Highland, and Pat Beverly was traded to the Magic where he was bought out, and the Denver get Lakers center Thomas Bryant.
I mean, I don't know what the Lakers are doing. They think they have Anthony Davis. They need another center. Like, you know, like what? I don't know. I think they're just trying to get people to, like, in their heads, they think they'll impact the team and become good, but reality, like, they're just not playing good basketball as a team. Honestly, Mo Bamba, I mean, he's a pretty good guy, funny name and everything, but I don't know if he was the right fit for the Lakers. I think he should have just stayed on the Magic. I don't know if that trade was worth it.
Yeah, maybe he needed a change of scenery. And Pat Beverly, who was just happy to get his Timberwolves teammate D'Angelo Russell back. We'll talk about that trade next. Was just bought out after he was traded, so now he's a free agent. And the Lakers, I think they did win this deal. They exchanged guards with the Jazz and Timberwolves. Lakers give up on Westbrook finally and his $47 million contract, where he goes to the Jazz, and the Timberwolves get Mike Conley. But the Lakers also add Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt. What are your thoughts on that trade?
Honestly, Vanderbilt's a very underrated player. I think he's really good. And I'm also excited to see Russell go out and go play for a different team and stop getting all this hate. After the Jazz buy him out, I think he's going to go to the Bulls, because the Bulls need a guard like that, or the Heat. So I'm happy to see. I hope he lands to one of those two teams so he can show like everybody why he's that guy, you know. But the Lakers that was a really good trade for them. D'Lo, I mean, it's sad that Pat Bev tweeted out, can't believe D'Lo's on my team, then, like, you know, gets traded. But I think the Lakers won that trade, and I think that could make a little bit of an impact for them. Hopefully it does, but I don't know.
Yeah, Lakers have more depth on their team, and I wouldn't be so sure the Jazz are going to buy out Russell Westbrook. We'll see what happens. They also had a first-round pick. And that's going to do it for us for talking about the NBA trade deadline. And next up, we'll be talking about the World Baseball Classic. So James is back and joined us, and now we're going to get into the World Baseball Classic, which begins March 7th and ends March 21st, both on Tuesdays. And Pool A, which is located in Taichung, Taiwan, includes Chinese Taipei, Netherlands, Cuba, Italy, and Panama. Who do you got in that one?
I think the Netherlands are going to come out in this one. I think they have an underrated team led by Bogarts. They have a lot of MLB talent. I think, you know, Panama's probably the favorites, but I got the Netherlands.
I mean, I'm going to go with an upset here. I think I'm going to do Italy. I mean, they have a lot of players in MLB that, like, we just don't know of, like big names. But I think they can get it done there. I think it's a competitive bracket, and I think that they can pull it off.
I like that Netherlands pick. They seem to do good in the World Baseball Classics usually. They also got Kenley Jansen there, who used to play catcher for them. And Pool B, which is in Tokyo, Japan, we got Japan, Korea, Australia, China, and the Czech Republic.
That's a really tough one. I'm gonna go with Korea. You know, new face. Obviously, I don't know if they're gonna win it, but I want them. I want a new face in this, so I'm gonna say Korea.
I got Japan. I think they have the best pitching. Yu Darvish, Kodai Senga, and Shohei Ohtani. I think the pitching's really going to lead them because a lot of countries don't have that strong pitching. A lot of countries' pitchers dropped out. I think Japan's pitching is really going to lead them to winning Pool B.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. I also have Japan in this, although they actually don't have Kodai Senga. He's not playing in it. But I don't know how you can go against Shohei Ohtani in this. And Pool C, which is in Phoenix, Arizona, we got the USA, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, and Great Britain.
Yeah, I got the U.S. in this one. I think this is probably the most lopsided pool. I think the U.S. are big favorites in that one. I think Mexico might be a sleeper team to maybe give the U.S. a little run for their money, but I think the U.S. will dominantly win this one.
Yeah, I have the USA too, but I wouldn't be surprised on Canada. Honestly, they're gonna have a pretty good 1 through 4 lineup. I mean, that's pretty good to have, but USA is just too good. I don't know.
I also got the USA in this one, but Mexico and Canada, those are good teams with a bunch of MLB players. Canada obviously led by Freddie Freeman. And Pool D, which is in Miami, Florida, which has Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Israel, and Nicaragua. I think this is the best pool out.
I got Venezuela, little shocker team. I mean, all of them it's going to be very competitive there. Anything can happen there. I don't want to say Puerto Rico or DR is going to come out on top because these guys are all like similar players. Like it's going to be a really good battle. I think Venezuela is going to come up on top.
I got the Dominican Republic, a little boring pick, but I think they're by far the best team. I think it's going to be really tough in that pool to really come out on top, but I think they're going to win. I think that pool is probably going to have the winner. I think the only team outside of that pool that will really have a shot is the United States.
Dominican Republic, they probably have the most talent, but I think Puerto Rico's got more chemistry. They played together more, so I think that could be a sleeper pick. Puerto Rico, they're always good. And so we've picked our pool winners, but who do you got for the whole thing?
So in the semifinal, U.S. versus Dominican Republic, I think this is pretty much the championship in my opinion. I got the Dominican Republic. I think they're going to go on and win. And then what do you got?
I have in the semifinals. I'm gonna have USA, obviously Venezuela, and then I have Italy versus Korea. But I think it's gonna be Korea USA championship. And I think USA is gonna smash them. It's gonna be a blowout.
Yeah, I think Japan's gonna meet the Dominican Republic in the championship. In my opinion, I think the Dominican Republic's gonna come out on top and win the whole thing.
Yeah, I got Japan, and I'm going to pick the USA in the finals also. USA is going to win the whole thing. Hopefully, we're all rooting for them, and I think they have a great lineup this year. And that's going to do it for us on this week's episode of The Final Whistle. We'll see you next week.